Hello everyone, welcome to this another video, and in this video in part 4 we are going to see that how black will get successful c6 c5 break. Okay, and this game will start from the beginning because we'll see that how Gata Kamsky actually tricked his opponent in the opening to get a desirable position. So let's start this game. This game I have taken from St. Louis tournament, very popular tournament in 2013. White was Conrad Holt, black was Gata Kamsky, very popular player, very popular grandmaster. So here white starts the game with d4, d5, c4, c6, slab defense, knight f3, knight f6, knight c3. Classical slabs are inviting. Black played a6, okay, e3, g6. This move we usually not see in the typical slab formation, but particularly in this situation it works very well. H3, bishop g7, bishop d3, castle, castle, e6, creating a semi-slab structure formation. b3, white is ready to do double fianchetto. So rook e8, bishop b2, knight bd7, queen c2, b6, black is ready to play bishop d7, rook fd1, sorry, bishop b7, and now white breaks with e4, d4, knight e4, knight e4, bishop e4. So we arrived in this position. The key position has been reached, and black has actually managed to free his position with this nice sequence. How black will free the position? We'll see here. It seems like white is having all the space advantage, the center control, but here some powerful sequence of moves will freeze black situation. f5, key move here in this situation. Bishop d3, c5, and black has solved his space problem now. And now white is the one who has to play the game carefully to maintain the equality. Bishop e2, tempting like move is d5, but it runs into a problem. Bishop into b2, queen into b2, queen f6, and actually the black is the one who is holding the space advantage after all the long sequence. Even if we take here, black is on the more comfortable side. So even after d6, I can actually play bishop e3 first. d3 and rook into e6, and black is the one who is dominating. Better minor piece for the knight, and the bishop is completely locked in his own pawn chain. There is no breakthrough. If 4 square is also weak, d4 square is also weak. My knight can also later on, it can come via, I hope, yeah, I can come via from here. Sorry. C6 and b4. So there are multiple routes possible. So c5, bishop e2 played by white, queen e7, dc5, bc5, and e5 is a strong threat now. Bishop g7, queen g7. Again, I'm ready to play e5, and we have reached a critical moment in the game. Black's plan is quite clear. He must advance his pawn majority in the center and the king side, and possibly create some threats against this white king. White must create some counterplay by pushing his pawn on the queen side. If he is unable to do this thing, but then his c4 pawn will become little bit vulnerable. But if he is not creating counterplay or unable to do this, black will kill white on the king side. So let's see how the game continues. Queen to d2, rook e7, b4, creating, there is basically, frankly speaking, white doesn't have any constructive plan here. So e5, d5, knight c5. Again, it seems in this position white is getting outplayed by black. Okay, and since black has now a better pawn structure, not only the better pawn structure, black is having a very mobile pawn center and king side pawn majority, where his pieces are actually keeping an eye on the king side. All of the pieces will quickly come towards the king side, and soon we will see that how black will launch an attack on the king. So knight c5 happened, queen a5, rook c8, rook a b1. More accurate would have been probably rook to d8 check, rook into d8, queen into d8, queen f8, and queen a5, a5 back again. Idea is rook e8, knight d2, queen e7. Chances are approximately equal, but yes, again, black is on the better side. So, but here if you exchange the queen, queen f8, king f8, and this is very unpleasant endgame. Rook d1 can be played, but king e8 in play. and then knight d2, rook d7, knight b3. I'll take, and knight d3. And black is the one who is playing for the win. Definitely white is not the one. So rook a b1 played in the game. Rook e8, knight d2, b4. Black is grabbing space on the center. Knight b3. Obviously, white has to create some counterplay on the queen side. If not, then it's very difficult. Knight to e6. Whenever you are attacking, you should not exchange the pieces. Keep the pieces, and this piece is ready to go towards the king side attack. Knight will jump to f4 or maybe g5. We'll see later on how it will go. c5. White is pushing the king, a pawn on the queen side. He has to generate at least something on the other side of the board. Otherwise, he will be killed on the king side. So e3, the beginning of create threats against the black king. So takes queen e5, immediately targeting here. Queen d2. e3 is a very good move. Actually, I would say that immediately disrupt white's pawn structure on the king side, and then black is basically coming with his pieces. And if you see, white is slowly coming back with his pieces, going into the defensive mode. Now we'll see how black will dodge the attack. Rook c d8, attacking the queen. Queen e1, bishop d5. Obviously, will not exchange the rook. It will help us to keep more pieces. Bishop a6. We don't care about this queen side pawns anymore. Our target is the king on g1. Rook to 8, bishop d5, rook a2, and white is already in a kind of difficult situation, and white plays here in a desperate way into d5. Okay, so white can play, many options are there. Knight d2 is there actually, but after rook e8, black is having very dangerous initiative. And again, if you try to capture here, bishop e8, which seems, but it immediately lost with chip. The game is over already, I believe. Queen h2, and with a forced checkmate of queen h1. So rook d5, black clarified, white tries to clarify. Queen d5, e4, fe4, bishop e8. It seems that white is already ahead in an exchange piece up, right? But what white has probably missed is e3, and this is white has missed when he played bishop to b5. The idea is, now my plan is queen g2, and you cannot stop it particularly. Queen f1 is possible, but I believe after e2 the game is, or e2 I can play anything else. Maybe knight f4 is also possible, or multiple options are there actually. Yeah, knight f4 is quite possible here. I can simply play. You cannot take, and rook g2 is coming. The game is lost already. So after e3, white just played bishop f7. Even if you play here queen to g3, still you are losing because of knight f4 again. We see this resource again and again. Queen f4 is not possible. Queen g2 check. Sorry. Queen g2 is check. So bishop f7, king f7. Now queen g3, and again king g7. Now we are ready to play knight f4, because to directly play knight f4, rook f1 is there, or maybe queen simply queen f4, just giving a check, and you don't have any checkmate here. So first king g7, knight to c1, knight f4, and at this moment white has resigned the game. You have no way to stop this rook g2 or queen g2 idea, and after that this e2 pawn is completely winning, and rook g2 you will lose the queen actually. There is no way you can stop it. And we see that how powerful black c5 break was, and when white played b into c5, that move played a major role to make the situation difficult for white. White got some play in the queen side, but it was not sufficient enough to resist that king side attack by the black pieces. So I hope you like this game. If you are new in my channel, kindly subscribe this video, and if you want to see similar kind of things or anything new, please comment it down below. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.